Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm your host on Around the Horn on this Friday, Ray Flowers. Everyone panics when their players get off to a slow start. You do it doubly when we're talking about some of the stalwarts of the fantasy game. And two names I want to throw out to you right now, Crawford and Carlos Gonzalez. What would you do if I told you I was more concerned about Carlos Gonzalez moving forward than Crawford? Now Crawford's hitting 143, no home runs, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored, 3 steals. He's looked dreadful through 17 outings this season for his new club in Boston. At the same time, Crawford, 6 of the last 7 seasons, has been a top 13 hitter in the fantasy game. The only time he didn't qualify there was when he was injured. So every healthy season in the last 7 years, he's been a top 13 hitter. Now Carlos Gonzalez was fantastic last year. He did it all. He was arguably one of the top 3 fantasy performers in all of baseball last season. But he's a young guy. He doesn't have a big track record. He's really struggled on the road. He's hitting 200 on the road this year. Last year he hit 289 with 8 home runs and 41 RBIs. He was basically a league average performer for an outfielder on the road. I'm a little bit worried about Carlos Gonzalez. He's hitting 257 with 1 home run. He'll be fine in the sense that he'll be productive, but I doubt highly that he'll be able to match the numbers he posted last season. I don't even know if he gets 90% of the way there, so hopefully if you took Carlos Gonzalez with your first round pick, your expectations were in check. Like I said, I might even have more faith in Crawford rebounding right now than Carlos Gonzalez. Torii Hunter is struggling big time. Now, all anyone wanted to talk about in Anaheim was the fact that Vernon Wells looked terrible. He's got the huge contract, not doing well at all, having a real tough time batting, currently hitting 179. But Torii Hunter is 4 for his last 40, folks, which is as bad as anything Vernon Wells did this season. Hunter's average has dropped down to 210. Now, what do you do with Torii Hunter? You got to feel comfortable with Torii Hunter if he's on your team. This is a terrible stretch of games, obviously, but you have to look at his performance of the last decade and say, look, I know I'm going to get a pleasant performer here. You're getting a guy who's going to hit 20 home runs, knock in 75, steal 75. I don't think he returns to that 20 steal plateau. He might be more of the 10 steal guy, and the batting average might start to dip a bit. He's probably not going to hit 290, 300. But just like Vernon Wells, Torii Hunter will be fine. Have some patience. Both those veterans should rebound from slow starts. Josh Beckett, well, that guy looks aces, folks, doesn't he? I wrote an article this offseason as Josh Beckett finished. You can link to it on the page here, explaining all the reasons why I thought Josh Beckett was going to be good yet again this season, while he really wasn't as bad last year as it looked like. So far, I've been looking pretty good on that one. He's got a strikeout per inning right now. His walk rate is below his career level. His ground ball to fly ball ratio is fantastic. It's over 1.6. Obviously a small sample size here, but with Beckett, 2 keys: keeping the ball in the yard, which he's done thus far, and staying healthy. If he does that, he'll be successful. Now, he threw 125 pitches in his last outing. It's a little bit worrisome for a guy with his injury history, but for now, Beckett looks great. Continue to roll with him. As predicted, this is going to be a good season for Josh Beckett. Now, on the other side of things, Loney, he looks abysmal. His on-base percentage of 190 right now is the worst in baseball amongst all qualifiers. He could potentially start losing at-bats to Jerry Sands, the youngster that the Dodgers recently brought up. But I think the Dodgers are going to give Loney a bit more time to find his stroke. Now, let's not forget from 2008 to 2010 that Loney actually had more RBIs at first base than Paul Konerko did. Not bad. And last season, despite the fact that Loney is never going to be that power bat, he's never going to be a difference maker, he still had more RBIs last year than Carlos Pena, Aubrey Huff, and Prince Fielder. He's a run producer if he doesn't give you the home runs. If you own Loney, sit him on the bench. If you need some help at a corner infield spot, try to get him on the cheap, because he's always been productive, even if he will never reach the elite level that some predicted after a breakout half season as a rookie. Matt Latos, here's another guy who's really struggling. He looks awful. He's lost 8 straight starts dating back to last season. All kinds of concerns with Latos. He was injured at the start of the year. But let me give you some silver lining in that cloud of doom. Last year, in his first 5 starts, Latos went 1-3 with an ERA of 5.47. Not very good at all. This year, at the start of the year, he's 0-3 with a 5.94 ERA. Now, will he rebound and go on a historic run like he did last season? I think that's obviously questionable. But the point is, Latos started off slowly last year, had rebounded, had a good season. Do I think it's going to happen? I think it's likely it happens this year. I am concerned because he has struggled this year, as well as looking really bad down the stretch last season. Hopefully, Latos wasn't your #1 ace, because there are questions with him, but he should figure things out and be a very good pitcher for the majority of the rest of the season. And then finally, Brandon Wood. Talked about him the other day. You can find the article linked to Conspiracies and Comebacks here. Yeah, it's been a rough career for him. He's not even come close to realizing the potential he once had. Minor League Player of the Year, all kinds of accolades. Hasn't gotten there. Put on waivers, designated for assignment actually by the Angels, was picked up by the Pirates. Now, the Pirates, hey, we all know the Pirates need talent. Maybe Wood finds a way to be a contributor. NL only Lakers, you have to give him a look. If he qualifies at shortstop, which is possible, more probable third, but he can still be someone that helps you. If he gets full-time at-bats, despite the fact we're looking at some of the worst numbers in the history of baseball for a guy with over 475 plate appearances, he still has some talent. Take a shot in the deep NL only league. I'm Ray Flowers, BaseballGuys.com. Thanks for joining me Around the Horn. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to y'all again soon.